All right. Good evening. Welcome to Just Our Take.
Hey.
This is our first episode of Just Our Take. My name is Nancy Smith,
And I'm Danny Ingvis.
and we have a disclaimer. Let me give this to everybody first before we get started. I don't want to get us in any trouble. So, this podcast is not to be used as professional advice or medical guide, but rather entertainment, a place to share your experiences, realities, joys, and woes through midlife. And this is just our take on it. So, how are
Just
you doing tonight? Everything good?
uh, well, if we didn't start out with technical difficulty, I would be 100% better because now we're doing it on our phone and I have glare and the microphone's not right, but
Uh, we're going
I
to work
work good
through
under
this.
pressure. So I'm just going to go with the flow.
That is true. You are a get it done gal. And that's one
So
of the
we're
reasons
good now.
why we're good together. So with both of us deciding to do this together, I thought you did a great thing by saying we should introduce who we are and what we're about. I mean, I'm a 55-year-old woman, two children. We've known each other for how long?
27 years, I think.
It's been 27 years, 27 great years.
Yeah.
And you're probably one of the few people I'd want to do this with simply because we have a similar take and a crazy take on what we
Yeah.
go through each day. So this is why I think it's a good idea that we just do it all here, air it all out, have fun. And
And
that's
I think the challenge will be for us is that we've known each other for 27 years. We've never made it through an evening where we didn't change the subject 6,000 times. I've never met anyone that I leave and I'm like, I didn't finish that subject. I didn't finish that topic. I didn't finish that topic. So
that's true.
this will be
And
our
usually,
own personal challenge.
and we'll keep it less than 3 hours like we did when we would do lunch when we worked
Yeah.
together
We'll
remotely,
do
so
our
to speak.
best. We'll do our best.
So it just as a brief, we met each other when I was a salesperson and you were working as a manager in a
Yeah, practice
physician's
manager.
office. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we met that way and we just hit it off. And when we would do luncheons, business luncheons, we'd be there forever. So we always seem to have plenty to talk about.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
at this point in life, I know that I've been listening to so many podcasts with midlife advice. And I thought it'd be fun if we shared our take.
Yeah,
So here we
I
are.
think well, and we talked about one of the things that nobody talks about. So we met before children.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you didn't have any kids because you were pregnant with Delaney at my wedding.
At your
So we didn't
wedding.
have kids. You were married. I wasn't married yet. So it's like
Mhm.
really going way back to the 20s, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah.
and
I
I'm
think we're
52
better
now.
now. I have to say, that's one thing I'm going to say about midlife. I think, you want to say you want to, and obviously this episode, we're going to focus on wanting to stay young because we all want to stay young. But I will say there are a lot of benefits to getting older because they're perspectives that we have now that we didn't have then.
For
And
sure.
I think we have a better perspective. They always say that if only I had know now what I didn't know then, or vice versa.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
knew then what I knew now, that would probably be a perfect combination.
yeah.
The experience, the knowledge that we have now, and the young bod and the
Do you remember
youngness.
Dr. Farber that I worked for? He used to say youth is wasted on the young. And I never
Oh,
understood that because I was
so
young.
true. So true. Yes, so true. I do remember him very well.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely a colorful character, colorful doctor. So he was fun,
for sure.
fun in some
For
ways,
sure.
right?
For sure.
But anyway, so there's several segments that we decided to do here, and I think this week we decided to talk about just trying to stay young. And when I searched on Google about trying to stay young,
Wait, hold on. We didn't do our segment of what are you drinking tonight?
what are we drinking? Oh,
Before
well,
we go in, every week we're going to start out with, and that'll tell you set the basis for how your week has been going because it's Wednesday right now. How's your week going? What did you need to drink tonight?
okay, well, let's stop for just a minute. I think you should switch whatever you're drinking should probably be switched to something stronger compared to what we had to deal with technically tonight.
I'm literally drinking sparkling water
Oh, I have
because
the
it's
lemon
one
water in the
step up from
cup.
tap water.
Uh,
What do you have?
I have a Yeti. Oh, not a Yeti. I have my Stanley full of lemon water.
Lemon water. And
Lemon water.
normally I would have a cup of tea at this time, but with caffeine. But Ella brought me some caffeine this afternoon, which I shouldn't have had, and I was completely dehydrated from yesterday. So I am making up for it today, and I'm sticking with water until bed.
All
So,
right. I
all
can't
right,
guarantee
that's what.
it's always going to
Cheers.
be unleaded. Oh, cheers. Cheers to you. Oh, you're even in a beautiful. That's a wine glass.
It is. I'm going to make it feel special.
Well, I'm going to switch mine to lime to a glass. That's great.
It makes the water feel special. All right, back to our topic for tonight.
All right. So anyway, yes, we decided to at least start this whole journey with our yearning to stay young, or at least what Google says keeps a woman young.
And everything Google says is
And I
correct.
think Exactly. How many times a day that should be a segment?
It
How many
should be.
times a day we all go to Google? Too many.
Right.
So I definitely looked at what they had said. There's so many characteristics: cheekbones, great skin, no wrinkles, great body, all these things. And I thought, strong jawbone, round cheeks, smooth skin. Anyway, so when I was done reading that, tooth color too was interesting.
Yeah.
So when I was done reading that, I thought about it. I said, yeah, that stuff makes you look young, but what makes you seem young? And to me, that seems more important because you can do all the Botox you want in the world. You can wear the youngest clothes in the world. But at the end of the day, you still seem old. I mean, there are women that I see have Botox. They have the what is this called? I heard today the gurgle or something.
The
The line between
little
your
frown line
eyes.
or whatever.
I call it the
Frown.
worry well. But you
Oh,
get all Botox, yeah, the worry well.
if you
And
get
then
big glasses, you can hide that. Just so you know.
oh, I know. Well, and the bangs.
And bags. Yeah.
Hence the bangs. When I go to the hairdresser, I say, Doug, cover the face. Let's cover the face. It's better than Botox.
It is
So
better than Botox.
there
Cheap.
are people that go for that, and I'm
Mhm.
all for it. I will never say that I wouldn't do it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If that makes you feel young, then do
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I also think I've known women that have done all that and still seem old.
Right.
I mean, they just seem old. And I think that's if we can master that, how to seem young, regardless of how you're looking or what you're wearing or what you're doing per se, I think that's the best of the challenge. So I came up with some ideas I thought would be good. That would make me seem young. So the first thing I think is kind of cool is keeping your mind young. Obviously, everybody says that if you have young thoughts or you think you're young, you feel younger. And
Yeah.
if you keep saying to yourself, oh, I'm old, and I hear so many people do that, I'm old, well, you're going to think you're old. You're going to
Sure.
feel old. So
Yeah.
that's for sure. That's for
Yeah. Keep
sure.
that brain moving. I mean, one of the things that I've learned, if you don't use it, you lose it. I think it
Yeah.
has your body and your brain.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree with that. And I think that goes to the number two that I was thinking too is just like keep moving. Do not
Yeah.
necessarily have to run a marathon because that's not happening. I'm not running a marathon. I do like to walk every day. I do like to keep myself moving physically, but I think just moving in general,
Sure.
not sitting
Yeah.
on a sofa all night long. I mean, I do know people who do that. I actually know people my age. I have friends of mine that sit around all night. Like they come home and sit and that's it. Like, can you imagine not being able to move around and get things done? I just think it's best to move at least more than usual.
Well, and
Also,
I'm
I
the kind of person that moves, 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 moves. The minute I sit and like, oh, I'm going to watch the show, I'm out
well, I'm
because
with you on
I
that.
don't stop. So I should. I'd love to have that in between where there's a little bit of downtime, but I
Yeah.
have not figured it out. And at 52 years old, I'm not sure that I'm ever going to. But
No.
but I'm not
Yeah,
unhappy.
well, it's
I'm
really funny you
busy.
say because we always say we have breakneck speed in this house, breakneck speed and stop. They're the two, we're either
That's it. Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
going, and then stopping.
Yeah.
But I think sitting around and watching a series and binging and enjoying that stuff is okay. I don't think
I
that's a big
absolutely love
issue.
that.
But
Absolutely
you
love that.
move, you're busy. You're busy with
Yeah.
your children. You're busy with your husband. You're busy with your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So these are the things that keep us young too. So the next thing I think is kind of cool is staying busy, which we do with and that things that you enjoy, you know, whatever
Yes.
it may
And
be.
hobbies and I would say that for years I put all my effort into me going to school and having little kids and doing everything for them, work, all that. Now my kids are older, so I have a 17-year-old and I have an almost 21-year-old. One doesn't even live here anymore, and I find that my husband and I are doing more stuff for us, like us doing the Sunday tickets for the Phillies.
That was
We're Phillies,
great.
go Phils! We're about down to the
Go
playoffs.
Phils.
So I think that
I agree.
I'm sorry, we're about to win the World Series, but I
Oh,
think that
hopefully.
but I think that that was one of the things that we did for ourselves this year, which I was so excited about because we've been doing for everybody else. And I literally told the kids, like, Sundays are for dad and I, and this is what we're doing. And everybody's worked around our schedules for that. And it's the first time we've done this in a very long time. So, but it's the best because it's something that we get a lot of joy out of.
Mhm.
So, I got to do more of that.
I think
I,
it's great.
I think
I think
more
it's
of
great
that.
when we
We
did
can,
that.
and I can,
Mhm.
and I don't begrudge my kids for that. we chose that. We could have gotten babysitters and gone away and done stuff like that. We didn't do that. But now we're still young enough, because in our heads, we're young enough still to go do
Yep.
all that. So I think that
Yeah.
matters too.
Oh, definitely. I think that's really key. And it's funny, that brings up a story. When we were in Italy last year, there was a couple that was with us, and they were a little bit older. I mean, they're probably closer to 60. And they were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. And the guy wound up that he was a physician out in Oklahoma. And he said, we were going to wait to travel. We were going to wait to do these things. We were going to wait to spend the money. And he said, wait a minute. Why am I waiting? I'm 60 years old. I am young. I'm healthy. Why not travel now while I still can do it? I'm not going to wait. And I just recently heard too that people should be starting to spend their money, their savings, it's at age 60. Enjoy your life. So
right. I mean,
it's
that's the thing. You're working your whole life, and then people retire, and next thing you know, I keep hearing people like, "Oh, I'm sick every time." And now I have time. The doctors
back issues.
have
I've like
all these things, and now I can't do anything. And my parents had a similar thing. My dad was depressed for a while, and by the time he kind of came out of there and was like, okay, I'm good, and him and my mom were gonna start planning trips, and my mom was sick. Like, you got to be careful. You might not always be on the same page, so you may be okay, but so I think that, what are we waiting for?
Yep.
And I do the
I
same thing
agree.
now with clothes and shoes. I have stuff hanging in the closet waiting for a special occasion. For
Yep.
what?
Yeah.
Everything should be a special occasion. Wear the good shoes whenever you want. Stop saving stuff for a day may never come.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. That's good. And
And I wasn't always like that. As I'm getting older, I'm getting more and more like that. I'm paying more attention to that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. That brings us to the next thing that I think is really important for staying young or making you seem young. Stay current. No pop culture. Know the basics. No music. No TV shows. No actors. No events. No current events. Know the news. I mean, I think those things are crucial, because I'll give you an example. Pete, my husband, he has a sister and our son, or her husband, actually, brother-in-law, who are both very well educated. They live in the DC area, and we were visiting. And I think we were driving around looking at the sites. I mean, looking at Washington, D.C. at night was just beautiful. And I do really like to do that. And that was one of the things they took. So beautiful. And we were just driving around looking at the Capitol and the White House. And we started talking about carpool karaoke. James Corden, carpool karaoke.
Yeah.
One of his first episodes he had on Adele. What an excellent episode. I mean, she's amazing anyway.
Yeah, I have to check out more of his. Absolutely.
No, oh my gosh, it's fun. He's so great. He's so great. So we're listening. We told them we were listening to the episode, and she's amazing. And both of them had no idea who Adele was.
Wait,
Now,
so
you
wait,
have to be living on Mars.
They play her song every other song.
They must not listen to any of it.
And I don't listen to a lot of regular radio.
Yes, but
how can you not know?
Who Adele.
Wow.
So it's just a learning experience. I think it was Adele. But it blew my mind, and it kind of was a telltale sign that sometimes we get so wrapped up in our lives, and I get it. Sometimes you're busy with your studies, and they're very, very well educated people, and they're very busy in the museum. They worked in the museum. So I understand that, but I think pop culture can keep you young. I always think my father's 86 years old. He still plays current music, but he knew all the music of the time. So it always made me think my dad was young, because he always played the newest music and the current music for me. So I think for sure.
I mean, I feel like having kids, there's names that was it Chapel Roan and all?
Yes. Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, well, that is true. Kids
would not know them.
That is 100% something. There's a real plus to having children in our age groups. They keep you young, they keep you current. And the two of them do not have children. So that can really also be it as well. Yeah. But I do think that if you try to keep your finger on the pulse of these things, it does really make a difference in how you seem. You seem young. Brings me to another thought. Another thought that I have is technology. I think that
well,
where do we go? Well, let's just
ignore my age tonight. I'm about to throw my phone across the room when I had to use this as opposed to
you're a little bit older tonight.
You were the laptop that died right before the podcast. Yeah, good timing. Great timing.
That's life. That's life. But anyway, I think if you're savvy, technically savvy, or try to be, you seem younger. Another example. Pete has Aunt Jean. And I can tell you right now, you're going to hear about Aunt Jean. Aunt Jean is one of the few women
Oh,
at
I
that
mean,
that I
sure.
totally admire. You know, Aunt Jean, she's
Mhm,
94.
mhm.
She's on her phone all the time. And of course, when the pandemic hit, she was literally watching all of her operas, her orchestras on Zoom. She's 94, just turned
Oh, that's
94.
amazing. No, that's great.
She
That's what
seems
you should
young.
be doing.
There she is when we're together. We went to visit her in Chicago. There she is with her stylus and her cell phone and doot doot back and forth. She knew exactly what restaurant we were going to, the menu, everything
Oh,
on
good. Well, maybe she can train me on Google Docs and everything.
well, I don't know about that, but
On to the
maybe
94-year-old for my advice.
she'll have to be a guest. You
Hmm.
know, then you have my father. My father's 86 years old and he uses Snapchat every day. I Snapchat my father pictures of everything every day. Come on. That's pretty
Well,
cool.
I get emails that say that you sent me Snapchats.
Yeah, I tried that with you. We tried
I am on Snapchat. I am on it. I
on
have the
it.
app on my phone. I even have TikTok on my phone.
I sent you one today, just for the record,
I
of the cat
can't.
of
I can't.
Levi.
I may be able to open up and look at it, but I can't respond to anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I am. I've just started. I just started with like being able to do Instagram. I am Facebook completely savvy. I am Instagram. I'm okay with that. I do read Twitter and I can reply on Twitter and all of that. But I mean, I'm not sure I'm proud of that. But I can't figure out the other ones, and I want to so bad because God knows I need a filter. So whatever.
Well, listen, there's no filter here, so that's going to be the next episode. No filter, or maybe extra filter for the next episode. But for now, and there's one other one that I have. This the last one of the group that I thought was kind of cool, and I think is really important is to drop your sword. And I wish I could take credit for this, but I listened to another podcast. Her name is Mel Robbins, and she's inspirational. She's wonderful. And one of the things I heard just when I was listening to one of the podcasts, drop your sword. And what she's referring to is, and I think it's probably our age, maybe it's hormonal changes, both men and women, and you find yourself more agitated. Not that you were tonight, but you know,
Not at
not
all.
at all. But and not that I wasn't either earlier or all day, but you find yourself more agitated and you're more angry. So you sometimes you need to tell yourself, drop your sword. Don't be so
Yeah.
mad all the time. Get rid of the frown. Get rid of the frown. Sometimes I have to tell myself to smile. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy. But literally, oh, smile. You know, you catch yourself kind of just frowning and just going about your business in a different way. So I think if you keep a smile about yourself or you keep a little bit lighter way about yourself, you do seem younger for
Yeah.
sure. I had said to
Yeah. I
Pete,
mean, I'm trying to like, okay, just take a minute.
yeah,
And I never used to do that, but instead of like throwing things like I wanted to do, I did not.
yeah,
But yeah, just taking that deep breath and just saying, all right, take a minute. And then why am I this upset? And I can fix it and then it'll all be fine. Because if you make a
yeah.
mess, it's not gonna get any better anyway. But yeah, I just feel like yeah, you get really upset and you let it take over and then it'll ruin a whole day
And I just think we tend to get more angry as we get older. Everything agitates you. I mean, and I think, you know, obviously when you're talking about 86-year-old parents, if my father gets annoyed at things, which I would say, why are you annoyed at that? But maybe when I'm 86, I would be too. But I think that if we can try to take that approach, take it down a notch, try to keep it a
yeah,
little bit
no,
later. Definitely,
no, I agree. I agree.
definitely. Yeah. So it's good.
And on all of these notes, I just want to say that I probably wouldn't do Botox, so I've got the bangs to hide that, and I'm going to dye my hair until the day I die. Probably, most likely. We'll see how tired I get, but I would say that I'm all for when I get up in the morning and I do my hair and I do my face and I get dressed. I don't do it for anyone but me because
Yeah.
I put together. I feel good about myself, and I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with everything I have. But I do it for me, not for society. Although if I didn't put my makeup on or I didn't dress a certain way, I'm sure I will be judged at work or whatever. You won't get the position you want or any of those kinds of things. But I'm going
Yeah.
to fight with everything I have. Not
Yeah.
everybody has to do that, but I am not about to like give up.
I get it. I get
Do
it.
I exercise like I used to? No.
You touch on that. You touch on that. And I know a lot of people that at my age, maybe a little bit older, that have decided to let their hair grow out and be gray.
And some people look gorgeous with it.
Yeah.
My neighbor
Oh
is
no.
older than me. She's got a younger looking face, and she's got the long gray hair, and she's stunning,
Oh,
absolutely stunning.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't think
Absolutely.
it aged her, but I think it would age me with my skin
Yes.
color
Right. And I want to say I think there are people that look beautiful with gray hair. There's no doubt. My first impression personally when I see gray hair, I think old, but
yeah,
that doesn't mean they don't look great. And it
right,
doesn't mean they're old.
true. Yeah.
But that is true. And I have family members, I have friends that have all said, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
No care gray hair. I'm going to do it.
Or they
It.
just cut it. They cut it, let it go gray, and stop shaving, and we do all this. Okay, if
Do
that
it
works for you,
for you. Do it.
I could care less.
And
But
I
for
think
me,
again that goes back to one of our things in the beginning, like it starts here in your head. If you
yeah,
feel good here,
yeah,
then let it go.
yeah.
Do it. Do it. I agree for
But
sure.
you gotta want to do it. You gotta, and for me, it's just part of my routine. I don't do it for
Absolutely.
anyone else. It's just I get up, I get dressed. This is what I do every day, and that's how I feel like I'm productive.
Yep.
But I wouldn't judge someone who doesn't do that.
No, not at all. I
But I'm
used to say
always
to
looking
the
for
kids.
something new.
No, I agree. I agree. And I used to say to the kids when they're little, like, look good, feel good, do good. Whatever way you think you look good,
Yeah.
do good, you feel good. That's great. Whatever
Well, you
works.
ever have the day where you don't do your hair or you just let it dry naturally, which is today? And then somebody be like, "Oh my god, your hair looks so good today." I'm like,
I didn't do
"Nothing.
anything.
I didn't do anything." So you're telling me every day when I do my hair and straighten it or blow dry it or make it look perfect, those days aren't as good as today when I did the thing. And it's like, so it makes you step back, like maybe I am doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll last like 3 days. And then I'm like, nope,
Well,
back to
it's
my
our biggest
days.
critic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
But it's
true.
interesting to hear someone tell you something that's just completely spontaneous.
Oh,
You weren't
totally.
looking for it because you're not even thinking you're having a good hair day, and somebody's like, yeah, that's perfect today, or
Oh,
whatever.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. Well, it's really funny. I asked Pete, I asked my husband, I said, what do you think as a man makes a woman seem young? And I would have thought he would have came back with, well, thin bod, boobs, whatever, hair, whatever. None of that. It was all her eyes. It's all looking in your eyes. And to me, that's an expression. Like your eyes have expression. Obviously, they say your eyes are the mirror to your soul.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
It's not just that. I think it's
yeah.
how you feel, your attitude, your approach. Again, it probably goes hand in hand with the drop your sword, but your expression in your eye is a reflection of how you're feeling internally. And
For
maybe not
sure.
in a
Yeah.
moment when you're frustrated, but in general. So I thought that was kind of interesting because
No.
for a guy that, and for any men that we know that are, that always make a comment about, the good looking girl or whatever it is they're looking for, when it comes down to it, I'll say, oh, I have a wrinkle he doesn't ever notice that. Now, most men, I don't think most men do.
No. No.
I think women notice other women and say, "Oh, she has really good skin or she's older and she looks older or she's got gray hair." I think if you even ask most men, they wouldn't even know what color eyes you have. I think men don't go granular like that. And I don't think they see it like that. They might see an expression in your eyes, they might see an attitude, but they don't see what we see. Most men. Now, if you're a guy in the industry, if you're in a fashion industry or modeling industry, you're going to
Yeah,
see
or just a superficial asshole,
we won't talk about those. Okay, they're not included in this. Yeah.
But no, I think because when you're happy, it's in your
Yeah.
eyes. When you're sad,
Yeah.
it's in your eyes. So
Yeah.
that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
no,
met all the
absolutely.
people.
You're
We
excited.
we went we went to a wedding last month in Boston, and there was a woman and a man there. And they're also I have to take notes. I had to take mental notes of these two. She was 80, he was 82. They were on the dance floor the entire time. And so when
Aw,
we were finished with the wedding at 11 o'clock, they said, "Do you want a nightcap?" I went, "Are you kidding me? But
I
most
love
I was
that.
gonna get a bed. Are you kidding me?" So we went with them to they were staying in another hotel, and we stayed in the lobby. It was beautiful. And we literally sat and we were ready to go to bed before them. But what I want to say is the woman, lovely, absolutely lovely. In fact, I kind of consider her a mentor right now. She was a CEO of a company. She kind of fell upon that. She was working for a company, and the close friend of hers who was running it was a family company. The close friend had passed away, and her family, who was still with the company, had asked this person to step in as CEO. And she had three sons of her own. She had quite an interesting history as well, but she was just an amazing. And I've met her about three times now. And I hope I see her again. And she really, had a fairly young look. She had the age in her eyes and the puffiness in her eyes, but within her eyes, she just looked sparkly and young and fun. And even her husband, who who asked me basically for a nightcap. We don't need to get into too many details for that.
And I feel like that is another episode
I was
on
like, woo, let's slow down,
night.
buddy. Let's slow down, but made me feel good for a hot minute. Anyway, the
Listen,
two
I
of
get a
them,
lot of 80-some-year-olds hit on me, so it's a joke in my house because that's my
is that
so
your age grade? Listen, it's all relative. If you go with
whatever.
somebody
I mean,
who's
a man is a man, or whoever.
I feel young. I feel young. It's all relative, To them, we're the whippersnappers. We're the 20-year-olds for the 50s. So, but anyway, the two of them were a blast. They danced, carried on, and they're now spending a month in Portugal, or excuse me, Spain.
So they're doing it right.
They're doing it right. They're doing it right. But it's what you make of it, your youth. So this, what makes you seem young? These things.
Not me losing my voice. I tell you, I lost my voice 4 separate times yesterday.
Why?
I don't know. Well, because I was talking
maybe
too much.
from your post-cold talking to me.
Well, I had a cold last week. You knew that. You didn't get sick,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Did you get sick from me being
No,
there?
No. I did not get sick from you. No.
I was like, okay, cool. All right. But no, I think just because of being dehydrated, and then I was working the event, and I'd be talking to someone, all of a sudden I'd lose my voice. And I was like, and I would literally try to talk and it wouldn't come out. So I would stand there with them and they'd laugh. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
And then I get it come back. And then somebody else would call me over and they would just lose it. It just kept happening. 4 times between like 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock. I just lost it. You can hear it. It's kind of raspy and gross.
I can hear it, but it's not terrible. I mean, I get it.
So that's why I'm going with just water tonight. But this will not be water for the next episode.
No, we're gonna start kicking it up a notch. There's certain Wednesdays. Normally I wait till Thursday, but I'll do it whatever day we need to do it.
We will pretend it's Thursday and it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's whatever you think makes you feel young.
The Nana Dan.
I don't want to grow old.
What'd you say? You don't want to grow old?
I don't want to get old. Like, I don't want to feel old. I know I'm going to get old, but
I
want to say I'm 62 and people go, what? I would never be 62. Because somebody did do that to me last week. Said, when I found out, and I've known her for a couple of years now, and she found out I was 52, and she said, she just kept like looking at me and kept laughing. I'm like, I told you I was 52 before. And she was like, you never did. I can't believe that. And I was like,
well, that's nice.
Lying to me, but I appreciate it. And she's like, no, Danny, I swear I had no idea you were 52. I thought you were in your 40s somewhere. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll take it. So
definitely, that's great.
Considering this person always sees me stressed because I'm running around like a maniac. But
well, you move fast, you talk, and you're enjoying yourself, and you have a light way in that way. So that's good. That's great. And you look great. So that's good.
Right back at you, sister.
Thank you. Well, I can't help but love those filters on Snapchat that you don't use.
But I can't. I mean, I would if I could figure it out. I told you there's a new girl at our office. She started probably 5-6 months ago, and she's our new Secretary of Public Works, and she's lovely. And when she started, I wasn't really sure how old she was, but I had a pretty good idea. But the more tech she started doing, I was like, she's definitely younger than us. And I was like, I'm going to gauge this, that she's about 10 years younger based on a couple of things. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I actually found out her real age, and I was spot on. She's literally 10 years younger than me. And I was like, that explains why you can do this, and she's a former teacher too. So she did all her own forms, and she's a great asset, but she's helping.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know if it's tech savvy, but
listen, I'll take advice from anybody who's going to give it. I am never afraid to say I don't know something and I want to learn it. So
actually, how about that? I mean, that's another thing. Like, I feel like we're learning from other people. So we talked about learning from our children or them keeping us young, but there's things that I wouldn't have liked if I didn't have these specific children, because Broadway and all these things. And all not that I didn't like musicals, but I didn't used to listen to soundtracks from Broadway, and I love that. There's music I never thought I would like. My Ella loves Billie Eilish. I love Billie Eilish. Like stuff I would never been exposed to. So I think that that's a key to staying young, is just continuing to learn. So not just being current and all that, but continuing to take it all in. The minute you go like, okay, I'm only an Excel document person, and don't try to teach me Google Docs, which we learned together for the share it. I'm open to new stuff, and I'm going to figure out Snapchat. That's going to be my next thing. Just
there you go. Well, listen, if I can figure out the Google Docs and keep that going, that's one of my challenges. I'm telling you.
I mean, the little things. So
that's great.
That's what
That's
we'll do.
great.
We'll have to challenge us each other for different things each couple weeks. Like, what did you learn this week?
Love it. That's good.
Okay.
That's good. We can
Yeah.
put that in there. I love that
Well,
idea.
all right,
Well,
because we're gonna
so I
live to
do have
112.
well, yeah, that's great. Well, let's move on to our next segment.
Okay, what you got?
So, there are so many different topics, but I'm going to just throw it out there. So, I'm going to put in our next segment's called the No Judge Zone. And the No Judge Zone is for any topic at all. We can talk about things we see, things we say, things we think, things we do, but you cannot judge. And this would be a perfect segment to have anyone who wants to join in. We pull things from people who want to send us emails or any kind of contact, and we pull it out there and say, we're not going to judge you for saying it, because this is a safe zone where you can bring anything you want to the table.
I love it.
So,
And I think that we have mentioned this podcast to several people, and I've got a handful of people that are already looking to be on this, to be guests.
oh,
Talk about
fun.
anything from dating to being a nurse to
Oh,
whatever.
oh,
Um,
fun.
so we think about that. And so I think we should always save this no judge zone for when they're here.
And they
Uh,
have to give us something.
and they give
They can
something.
give us something that's quirky and strange. Maybe they would think is quirky and strange, but no one's going to judge you. You can say it, you can do it, and it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Well, I'm going to switch my topic because I think I'm going to be judged.
It's a no judge zone. No one's going to judge you. Tell me.
Oh, well, I'm going to go with the safe no judge zone. I'm a Swiftie. So that's safe.
I think that is super safe.
I'm a 55-year-old Swiftie who listens to her music, to Taylor Swift, all the time.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm Taylor Swift, and I don't think I'm 30 like she is, or 22. 22. Now, not at all, but I do my fair share of singing and carrying on thinking.
I do like her very much. And when my kids are singing, and then sometimes they'll hear me have it on, I'm sure I do not play her as much as you do, because I'm a big talk radio person, is most of my consumption. But I'll be playing Taylor Swift, and my kids will be like, "Oh, you're listening to Taylor Swift?" And then I have to say, "I'm sorry, excuse me. When you were 3 years old, sitting in the backseat of my car, I was playing Taylor Swift for you, but it was for me, and you were listening to it." So
there you go.
I'm a Taylor Swift fan before they were Taylor Swift fans. So
well, that's fair. That's fair.
big fan
I
as
don't know
you.
if I was into her as much as I am now, but now I really am.
No, I do like her, and it's funny to listen to the different music. But yeah, absolutely, I'm a fan. So no one's going to judge you for that. I
Okay,
can
well,
think
that's
about a couple people, maybe one person in the country that would judge you for that, but we're not going to talk politics. So,
oh, not now, no.
not not this month. All right. So my no judge zone, I had a couple of things, but then this one is more on the lines of staying young. So my no judge zone is, I found this, my niece turned me onto it, and my sister, and then my daughter was using it. It's called the Too Faced lip injection.
Oh,
wait, so it's this lip gloss?
yes, I have something like that. It blows your lips up a bit.
Yes, like this
Makes them
no pain,
puffy.
no gain. It's for real. Because
Oh,
if you
look
put
at
enough of
you.
it on, it hurts.
Yeah. It burns, right? Yes, I have that.
My lips were starting to like I used to have these really big, beautiful lips, and they were getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And now every time I find something, I'm like, all right, is this going to cause enough pain to do it? And it's instant and long-term lip plumper.
Wait a minute. Instant and long term?
That's what it says on here. But I do think it has worked, because now I'm a lipstick person, so I didn't wear my dark lipstick tonight because I wanted to show you. But I do put this on in the morning while I'm getting ready, so it's a nice and plump. By the time I get to work, I'll put my regular lipstick on. But it has worked, and it does stay.
Well, that's good. I do have.
They're not a sponsor, but they might be at some point.
They might be at some.
Too
well,
Faced
keep using it. Maybe I can try it.
Oh, it's extreme too, by the way. It's extreme.
It's extreme. Well, that's good to know. I'm gonna have to try. I do have something like that, because it's like a lip gloss, and it makes my lips burn, and it's supposed to give you the puff. So I'll have to check out the Too Faced for it.
Too Faced, and it does last. It does like so after this, I might not use it for a week, and I haven't like seen my lips like go down and be like small. Listen, maybe it's in my head.
Not if your lips are burning.
Super. We bought them the first time I bought it when we were up visiting Grace in New York one
Just
time.
be cautious.
And I'm literally undoing it in the store. How is it supposed to feel like this?
I gotta tell a really bad story. I have to tell a really, really bad
Tell it.
story. This is really, really bad. So, when we first moved into our neighborhood, we were younger, we were 30 and we were whatever, we had young babies and all. And there was a neighbor and she would go around, married neighbor. I can't give names. She was a
Okay.
married neighbor and she would go around to the gentleman. And I don't know that she asked my husband, but she would ask them if they've ever had a blowjob with the holes in their mouth.
Oh, I do remember you telling me this
Remember
story.
this story? So I can't help but think putting that on your lips, you might be a little discretionary on any type of other thing.
What if you put it on your lips and put holes in your mouth?
Oh dear.
I don't
You
have any
might-
holes, or I would try it right now on this video, but that's it. That's all I'm doing with the holes in my mouth. So
Yeah. All right. Well, that might have to be a no judge because we might have to hear later if later on if we happen to experience anything with the holes or two-faced lip injection.
and then our children will be like, "Don't ever ask me to listen to your podcast ever because you both suck."
It's not G-rated. That's not G-rated. That's true. Oh my gosh, but that story just came to my mind. I couldn't help
Oh,
but
I can't believe, like, I can't imagine how many stories will come
who
out
goes around asking people? Who goes around asking people that? Hey, have you ever had a blowjob with the holes? I mean, to me, that wouldn't.
Oh man.
Ever done it? I would give choke on the holes while you're doing it.
Yeah. No,
All right,
I don't know. I
we
can't
can
imagine.
make that a whole episode unto itself, but
And we will. And then we can tell people, if you love us or you're going to judge us, you can't listen to this episode.
right.
If you're married to us or I gave birth to you, you probably don't want to watch this episode.
Or you're my parent. You're my father.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah. I can just hope to see my dad putting on a
Episode
podcast.
5.
Like, Dan, where's the latest podcast? No, it's not gonna happen.
Oh, anyway, well, I guess we should wrap it up. I guess we didn't do our breathe. Should we do our breathe? Should we take a
Sure,
step?
breathe. We should have done the beginning, but we got past it. So we can do it now. Sure.
Let's do it now. We'll just do our breathe. We'll breathe in, breathe out. And then you do that 3 times and be so calm, we won't need the wine.
Stop that. Don't talk like that.
Well, this has been fun.
It has been fun.
It has
So we're
been
going
fun.
to add on to it. We're going to get maybe some music in the beginning.
Yes, we're going to make this the true deal. We're going to be the true deal, baby.
True.
Um,
Wait, did we say what we're called? Did we even talk about our name?
we did. We said at the beginning. This is the first episode of Just Our Take.
Let's go back to the beginning. Okay.
Midlife mastery, midlife craziness, whatever. But it's just our take.
It's just our take, and every week it'll be just our take on some new topic.
I love it. Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, so join us next episode. We're going to discuss what is best. You should learn to zip it through menopause and midlife. Sometimes we say too much, the filter goes by the wayside, and you pay for it dearly. So we're never going to zip it on the podcast, for the record, because I really
no.
Next week I'm going to talk about my true no judge topic, and
you got something. Okay,
I got something else. I'm going to throw it out there, and I wrote it down, but that's going to be for next week because I have to work myself up to that. I mean, I might be judging myself.
Leaving us with a cliffhanger there. I can't wait. I feel like I'm going to have to come up with something better.
Listen, there are many things we can talk about that we shouldn't judge people on, so it's all good. But this one was fun, and maybe just work up the guts. But anyway, so next week, join us. We're going to talk about learning to curtail comments.
And maybe we can share some topics, yes, from when we didn't, or when we know others who didn't, and
for sure. And when you have children that are young adults, that's when you learn really to zip it.
We have a lot to talk about. Okay, all right.
Thanks. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Nancy Smith,
and I'm Danny Ingves.
See you next week. It'll be just our take.
See you next week.